Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 5th February 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. And most of the articles in our today's discussions are very important from international relations and as well as economy point of view. So first of all, I want to let you know one thing, guys. So if you want to select the right article in your newspaper, you have to be well versed with this UPSC syllabus. Try to buy hard the syllabus for sure. So if you buy hard the syllabus, then only you can understand like the keywords which are coming in your newspaper, whether they are relevant or not. You will be knowing that. Okay. So let's get started without wasting any time. So now the first article, see here, guys. So first article, it is about China hits back at US with goods tariffs probe into Google. So this article is not a new article now, because from past 3 days onwards we are discussing this. So what was the start of this trade war between US and China once again? So if you see here, US started with imposing of tariff not only on China but even Mexico and Canada. That was the thing that we started 2 days back, right? Around 25% of tariff on Mexico and as well as goods from other countries, and extra 10%, that is 35% on this China. So in yesterday's class we discussed that yes, they are thinking about this Mexico, but on China and Canada they are imposing, right? And now what happened in retaliation? China is imposing tariff on US goods now. Okay, so now let us see the keywords that you have to see, guys. So this article is talking about what? Trade war. So this trade war between which countries now? US and China. So from which subject we can see from UPSC point of view? So trade war or trade comes under our GS paper 3 under economy. And we are talking about relationship between US and China. It comes under GS paper 2 under international relations. Okay. And not only that, because of this trade war, we have to see what is the impact on global economy. So which comes under from GS paper 3 onwards, and even from GS paper 2 on society and social issues point of view as well. Okay, so yesterday we studied some impact. So because of this trade war or US imposing tariffs on China, it also having impact on Indian rupee, right? So Indian rupee value is getting decreased. That thing we discussed, that is depreciation of Indian rupee. So because of depreciation of Indian rupee, obviously it will be having impact on Indian economy. It is having impact on Indian economy. That is the thing we discussed. And not only on Indian economy, but there is impact on global economy. So what is that impact on global economy? We have to see now. And apart from that, what are the dimensions you have to see, guys? So first you have to understand what is this trade war. And what is the history of this trade war? So actually this is not the first time. This trade war started between US and China. But even during this Trump 1.0 era also, this trade war was happened. Okay, you have to see the history of this trade war between US and China. And you have to see the important points which are given in this article. And you have to connect with the previous articles like yesterday's and day before yesterday's articles as well. And you have to see what is the impact of trade war. And what are the reasons? So why countries imposes tariffs on another country? So if you do that, then your work is done, guys. So all these things that you have to see. Okay, now let us see what this article is saying clearly. So China announced that we are going to implement tariff or taxes on US based goods. On which products? Especially energy related, vehicles and equipment. So because of this, they are going to have a significant escalation, that is increase in the ongoing trade war. between two giant economies. So on these two giant economies, now what happened? This trade war like situations that we can see. So why this decision came up by China? China came up with this as a retaliation, that means tit for tat like measures. Okay, so because US imposed additional tariffs on Chinese goods, so because of this, now China came up with tit for tat taxes, that is retaliation, by introducing 15% of tariff on which products? Coal, liquefied natural gas, and 10% of tariff on crude oil and also agricultural machinery and certain vehicles from US. So here they imposed taxes on crude oil, agricultural machinery, vehicles, liquefied natural gas and coal. It is very important for economy of US. Okay, so this is a thing which mainly said in introduction, and if you see some deep points in this article, so first one here is Chinese tariff on US imports, particularly on this energy and vehicles, that will be affecting what? That will be affecting US trade balances, because $7 billion in US energy exports which happens to the China, and if they are imposing taxes, then it will be affecting this $1 billion of US energy exports. And this new tariffs which also alter whatever the trade relationship which are present between US and China now. So here now China can more heavily rely on other countries like Russia. Okay, there can be the shift from US towards Russia for its energy dependency. Okay, and next important point here is long-term negotiation process. So many analysts, they are suggesting that China's retaliation is measured and selective. So it may saying that we can go for long-term negotiation projects or long-term negotiation strategies so that we can stop this ongoing trade war between US and China. And we can also go for some future negotiations, and we can go for some dialogues focusing on specific sectors rather than tariffs. So this is the thing which mainly suggested by many analysts. And next one is WTO involvement. So China is also having an intention to file a complaint in WTO, that is World Trade Organization. Okay, so here we can understand that WTO can play a very important role in resolving of the disputes between the countries regarding trade, so that it can ensure free and fair trade between the countries. And next one here is export controls. So China's new export controls on rare metals and chemicals, they are also an important move which is focusing on very important key industries, particularly on these sectors. Okay, so these are some important points which are given in this article. So apart from this, you need to know about some basic facts regarding trade war. So trade war is also called as tariff war. Okay, so trade war or tariff war which occurs when countries impose tariffs or duties on each other's goods so that they can protect their domestic industries from competition, or to retaliate against unfair trade practices. If trade is not happening good between the two countries, then they can go for imposing of retaliation taxes under this trade war. And these tariffs, what happens? It will be increasing the goods cost so that they will be becoming less attractive compared to that of locally produced items. Okay, now I want to give you example to understand, to make you understand this. So here what happened, it is related to tariff. Tariff is also called as tax. For example, let us take this is country 1 and this is country 2. So country 1 is importing goods from country 2, right? So on this, they will be now imposing import tax or import duty. So because of this, what happened? The cost of this so and so good will be increased, right? So for example, let us take I am exporting certain goods like electronics. Electronics. Okay. So country 1 is getting this electronics from this country 2. And on this countries 2 electronics, so country 1 imposes this import duty. So let us take a scenario. So before tariff, the good cost is 1000 rupees. After tax, for example, they are imposing 25%. That means for 100 rupees, there is increasing of cost of 25 rupees. So here for 1000 rupees, there is increased cost of how much? 250 rupees. So now the cost here is 1250. Okay, so here before tariffs or tax, the cost of the good is 1000 rupees, but now the same good cost, because of this tax, it had been increased to 1250 rupees. So now these goods are going into this market of country 1, and in this country 1 also there are some domestic industries. They are producing the same electronic goods. Okay, for example, I'll take this example as Bluetooth. Everyone is using Bluetooth. So I am exporting Bluetooth to country 1, and country 1 is also having some companies, they are manufacturing this Bluetooth. So in their country now the Bluetooth is, for example, 1100 rupees. So my good cost is, because of tax, it is 1250 rupees. So which good will be having more demand now? Countries 1 domestic good will be having more demand. Okay, so because of this, there is increasing of sales of this good, and my good sales will be decreasing. So because of this, it will leads to unfair trade practices. Then what I will do? I will not sit idle, right? I am also eating salt, I am also eating spice, everything. So my blood will be also get boiled. So that what happens, for example, if I am importing any goods from this country 1, on these goods I will also impose import taxes or tariffs now. So this is called as retaliation. Okay, this is called as retaliation now. Okay, so why this trade war or a tariff happens? So here country 1 imposes this tax to protect their domestic industries, and country 2 is now imposing this import tax for what? Retaliation. So that is the thing which mainly said here. Okay, to protect their domestic industries from foreign competition, and next one is to retaliate against unfair trade practices. These tariffs, what happens overall, that will increase the cost of imported goods, and they will make them less attractive when we are comparing with the locally produced items. So this is called as trade war or tariff war. So why these countries are engaging in these trade wars? So first and the foremost reason is, as I said, to protect domestic industries and for economic leverage. That means to gain more leverage in a bargaining tool in the negotiations, and even for some political reasons. For example, Trump imposed for his policy, that is political policy of America first policy or protectionist policy. And next one is retaliation. So China is imposing now to retaliate, that is tit for tat. And how do these trade wars impact this global economy? So what happens? There will be increasing of price of that good in the market, and that will also lead to supply chain disruptions, and even that will lead to decreasing of growth in the countries, that is reduced economic growth, and even there will be volatility in the market. Okay, so these are the some impacts that you have to remember. So if you're doing from the basic onwards, then your understanding of what is happening will be very great, and that is important for writing a very good answer in your economy. Okay, now let us see this next article. So see the title, guys. Over 2,900 killed in natural disasters in 2024, says central government. So this article is talking about the death in natural disaster. Okay, so what is the keyword? Natural disaster. So from which subject you can see this, guys? Disaster management is part of your GS paper 3 under DM, disaster management. Okay, So here this article is saying that around 2,900 people they died in 2024 because of natural disaster. That means here natural disaster is caused by nature, right? So here based on this we can understand that there are different types of disasters. So what are the different types of disasters? We have natural disasters and we have man-made disasters. So you have to see the examples, right? So natural disasters includes, for example, earthquake, for example, volcanic burst or eruption, landslides, avalanche, etc. And you're also having man-made. So what are the man-made? Man-made is nothing but stubble burning, sorry, not stubble burning, stampede. So whenever they are building some artificial structures that is leading to the loss of life of people. For example, recently one big flexi in Mumbai had been fall down. So because of this, it caused death. And even during the political party campaigns, also stampede will be happening. And even if you're constructing any dam, so if that suddenly broken, that will cause disaster. So like that, we have natural and man-made disaster. And even you have to know about what is the difference between hazard and a disaster. For example, if an earthquake happened in a very remote area but no life is existed there, do it cause any loss? Do we bother about that? No, that is called as hazard. But if it is causing loss of life, it is causing chaos, or it is causing any loss of property, everything, that will come as a disaster. So this is a major difference between hazard and disaster. Okay, and next you have to know about organizations in our country. Like central level, what are the organizations, state level, what are the organizations, and at the local level or the district level, what are the organizations that you have to see. And you have to see about DM cycle, disaster management cycle. So if there is any disaster, how we are going to see that, like what are the pre-disaster steps, during disaster steps, and post-disaster steps. That is the thing that you have to see. And even every year you will be getting at least one or two questions in your mains regarding disaster. So whatever the data that you are getting in the newspaper, try to write it somewhere, like as our present article do, like it gives a data. So what is the data? 2,900 people they killed in natural disasters in India. So now let us see here what this article is saying clearly. More than 2,900 people were killed because of hydrometeorological disasters. So hydro means related to something regarding water. So it may be because of excess rainfall or less rainfall. Around 2,900 people they had been died. So here this article is saying that there is increased frequency of disaster. So because of this there is increased casualty and even increasing of property loss. So here increasing of frequency and as well as severity of hydrometeorological disasters in India happened. So here there is an urgent need for enhanced disaster preparedness, and we have to focus on mitigation strategies at both state and as well as at national levels. And this one here is even there is impact on housing as well. So because of this hydrological disaster, even destruction of houses is happening. So because of this destruction of houses, that leads to increasing of humanitarian crisis. So especially many people they are losing the families, shelter, etc. And here government is focusing on temporary housing and as well as long-term rebuilding efforts. And next one is agriculture impact. So because of lack of rainfall, it is not only having impact on agriculture, but even animal husbandry, because water is very important for them also, right? So it is also leading to the loss of cattle. And even whenever the cattle is affected, obviously it is having impact on our agriculture sector as well. It will be affecting the livelihoods of the people and as well as food security of many families. And even this kind of disasters, that will also increases poverty levels in our country as well, so that further it will lead to increased economic challenges. And next one here is we have to go for decentralized disaster management. So decentralization is very important. We have to go for localized responses. We need to go for taking of coordination, resource allocation at the local level so that we can manage disasters efficiently. Okay, and we can also address this problem of inequalities as well. And next one is financial mechanisms. So like we have funds at national level or central level, we have national disaster response fund. At the state level, we have state disaster response fund. So we need to have proper funding as well so that we can go for efficient disbursement of finances so that we can improve the response within a short period of time, and as well as we can increase overall effectiveness of a disaster. And next one here is, this article is also saying that we need a proper data. So we don't have proper centralized data system regarding disaster and its impacts. So because of this, our government is failing to come up with efficient policies. If we want to come up with efficient policies, we need to want certain data. So that means we need to have, yeah. So we need to have certain data collection, and we need to have proper management, and we need to have proper disaster preparedness and as well as response strategies. And even we have to focus on improving of health and as well as safety risk as well. So especially during these disasters, there is a very high risk of contamination and lack of sanitation. So because of this, communicable disease will be spread very fastly, and especially even women and as well as children are more vulnerable in this disaster. So we have to protect those affected populations. So this is the thing which mainly said here. And now let us see the next article. It is very important. The US WHO exit, a chance to reshape global health. Okay, so this article is talking about one international organization called as World Health Organization. This article is talking about US withdrawal, US withdrawal from WHO. So this article is important from GS paper 2 under international relations, and as well as from GS paper 1 and 2 from society and social issues point of view, and as well as organization that you will be studying in your GS paper 3 under economy. Okay, now let us see what are the dimensions you have to see. So you have to know about, first of all, what is this WHO and some basic facts regarding this WHO. You have to know, or else you can't appreciate what I'm saying now. So you have to know some basics about this WHO, and you have to see why US wants to come out of this WHO. What are the reasons? And you have to see, yes, US wants to come outside, but what are the conditions are there to come out of this WHO? So what are the conditions to come out? And next you have to see, if US is coming out of this WHO, what will be the impact? So all these are the things that you have to see, guys. It is very important. Okay. Now let us see here the context. On January 20, US government issued an executive order to withdraw from membership of WHO. So executive order had been signed by US president to come out of this WHO. So what is WHO? That is World Health Organization. It is one of United Nations agency, and this organization which will be working for promoting of health and as well as global safety. So when it was formed, you have to remember the year, that is 1948. Okay, established on April 7th, 1948. And this WHO, which began functioning from 1951 onwards. Okay, so what are the important functions of this WHO? First one is, it will be setting some standards for public health. And even if any country requires any technical assistance, so this WHO will be providing support to the countries. And even it will help to prevent, and it will also respond to disease outbreaks. So it also helps to detect, prevent and respond to health emergencies. And even it will collaborate with partners like different state governments, different civil societies, organizations, private sector, etc. And even it is responsible for strengthening of our health system across the countries. Especially it is focusing on primary healthcare as well. So where are the headquarters? That is in Geneva, Switzerland. So these are the some basic facts regarding WHO. So now let us see why US wants to come out of this WHO. So first important reason here is there is allegations that WHO mishandled this COVID-19 pandemic. So US accused World Health Organization for delayed response and even inadequate measures taken in early stages of the pandemic. Okay, and WHO declared COVID-19 as a public health emergency of international concern in 2020, but faced criticism for having incomplete information, had not done proper investigation regarding origin of this COVID-19 pandemic. So actually, you know that COVID-19 had came up from this Wuhan city of China, but they made some inadequate uh, conclusions or incomplete information. They did no proper investigation. So because of this, so this is the one allegation made by US. And next one is perceived bias towards China. So Trump administration alleged that WHO favored China. Okay, and it is saying that it is not impartial. It is like showing impartiality towards China. WHO also praised China's transparency despite concerns about suppressed early reports of human-to-human transmission. So even China assessed contribution of WHO that is around 15 percentage. So actually whatever the contribution given by China to this WHO is less compared to that of US. Even though here WHO is having some political motivations towards China. So these are the allegations made by US. And this one here is WHO is also failing to adopt reforms. Like it is not coming up with any structural reforms to improve governance and as well as accountability in this WHO. And this one here is Trump also said that whatever the funds we are giving, that is like increasing of burden on this country. So because of this, they want to come outside so that they can use that for other purposes. And US is giving around 22.5 percentage of contributions, but China is giving only 15%. Okay, and next one here is insufficient accountability. There is lack of transparency, lack of accountability in decision making process. That is a thing. And even there are some political motivations and domestic agenda of Trump. So Trump said that we want to focus on America first policy, and they want to focus on bilateral relations but not multilateral. So they are coming out of this multilateral organizations. That is the thing which mainly said by US. So these are the reasons why US wants to come outside of this WHO. Okay, now let us see what are the conditions and let us see whether these conditions are satisfied by this US or not to come out. So WHO has WHO constitutions, and in this constitution it says that there is no provision for withdrawing from World Health Organization under its constitution. But US creates a condition for withdrawal that US joined this WHO in year 1948, and it laid down the condition of allowing withdrawal if 1 year notice is given. So if you are giving 1 year notice that we are coming out or withdrawing, then we can do it. So this is the idea behind this US. Okay, now what happens if US is coming out? The first one is, what are the funds it is getting from US? It will be decreased. Yes, that is funding shortfall will happen. And even whatever the major programs that they are running, so it will be having impact on the programs as well. For example, the programs regarding tuberculosis, polio, malaria, they will have some potential delays or halts. And next important problem here is weakening of leadership. So whenever there is coming out of this US from WHO, there will be some problem in the leadership. There is increased reliance on other nations like China for leadership and as well as funding. So these will be the problems for WHO in the future. So if this US is coming out of this WHO. Okay, and even there is also impact on the global health. So how? The first one is, yes, we will be becoming very weak in expertise, so that in future pandemic also we will be not preparing further, and even there will be no proper response, and there will be delayed response to new pandemic outbreaks in the future, and even there will be erosion of multilateralism as well. So whenever US is withdrawing, it undermines the collective global action, and will also fosters geopolitical divisions, and even there is increased dependence on voluntary contributions from private organizations, and it have to depend upon some smaller nations, so that it will create some instability. And even there are some challenges regarding equity and other programs which are running by our WHO. So like that, we will be having not only impact on WHO, but even impact on this world as well, regarding how to maintain proper health and sanitation. So those are the things that you have to remember about. Okay, now let us see the next article. See the title, it says India-Indonesia ties as a beacon for global relations. So this article is also very important from, again, international relations. So what is the keyword that you have to see? Keyword is India-Indonesia relations. Keyword is India-Indonesia relations. So from which subject you will be seeing this? From GS paper 2 under international relations. Okay, so what are the things that you have to see? You have to see about two things only: areas of cooperation, and you have to see what are the challenges. In areas of cooperation, you can see different areas like strategic cooperation, like military cooperation, science and technology cooperation, economic cooperation, political cooperation, trade, like those things that you have to see, and what are the challenges. Then your work is done, and even you have to see the map. So why this article regarding Indonesia is in news? Because Indonesia is the key chief guest for our Republic Day. So because of this, again, that thing which is given here in this article regarding in which areas we are good at. Okay, now let us see that in clear and detailed manner. So this article is saying that the recent visit of Indonesian president to India and his role as a chief guest for India's 76th Republic Day, which marks 75th anniversary of India-Indonesia diplomatic relations. Okay, and it is saying that we are going to improve our further relations. So what are the areas of cooperation? The first one is political relations. So actually we had some shared colonial experiences, and even we had some experiences in democracy and pluralism, and especially Indonesia's president was like guest of honor for our even first Republic Day in 1950, and this year marks 75 years of relationship between India and Indonesia. And we also collaborated Bangdang Conference in year 1955, and later on non-alignment movement also in 1961. And even government of India came up with this Act East policy in 2014, which complements Indonesia's global maritime fulcrum vision. So these are some political relations between India and Indonesia. And apart from that, even we have some economic partnership. So as you all know that India, especially India, is doing trade with these Asian countries, and under these Asian countries, Indonesia is one of the key trading partner for India. So if you see the trade between this Indonesia and India, so it is around 38.8 billion US dollars, and it's a data as per 2022 to 2023. And even we had some trade investments, that is working group on trade investment we had signed, and even we had biennial trade ministers forum, and also we are focusing on resolving our outstanding tariff and non-tariff barriers so that we can increase the trade. And even we had an agreement which we are going to sign by 2025, that is Asian India trade goods agreement as well. And even we have one MOU, that is memorandum of understanding on local currency settlement system as well. So these are some important economic partnership. And if you see some strategic partnership, so we have enhanced our cooperation in defense, trade, investment, and as well as in maritime security. For example, we have India-Indonesia security dialogue, and even we had first track 1.5 dialogue in 2024, and we are focusing on enhancing bilateral maritime dialogue and cyber security dialogue. And in defense, yes, we had a shared vision of increasing of security in this Indo-Pacific region. and we had some joint exercises as well. For example, exercise Garuda Shakti, exercise Samudra Shakti, and we had some multilateral exercises like Milan, Komodo, Tarang Shakti, Super Garuda Shield, etc. And even we came with one agreement called as Wide Shipping Information Exchange Agreement. And even two countries here are focusing on increasing of food security as well. For example, India is also giving support in Indonesia's new midday meals program. In the same way how we are doing, so they are also doing that. So that we are sharing knowledge and as well as experience, and even we are supporting the initiative for more Indonesian officials to benefit from expertise of Food Corporation of India. And even we are focusing on public distribution system as well. And regarding energy also, we are getting some critical minerals like nickel, bauxite, silica, etc. from this Indonesia. And even we have one project called as Nunukan gas block project. Okay, that is between India and Indonesia, and we are getting some edible palm oil from this Indonesia. And even regarding infrastructure and connectivity also, we are expanding our bilateral air services agreement, so that we are increasing our trade, tourism, and as well as exchanges. For example, we have Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand growth triangle. Okay, so all these are some important areas of development. And not only in these areas, but even regarding disasters also, we had a coalition of disaster resilient infrastructure. So it is India and Indonesia's joint initiative. And even there are some invitations which are extended to join this International Solar Alliance also, and International Big Cat Alliance also. And we are focusing on improving of our uh, relations regarding disaster management and capacity building. And even we are increasing multilateral cooperation, like India and Indonesia, they are part of different multilateral organizations. For example, United Nations and G20, and even India is improving its relationship with ASEAN, and even with Indonesia want to improve its regional cooperation, even its IROA. So we are focusing on enhancing blue economy. So in all these areas, there is increased or enhanced relationship between India and Indonesia. And now you have to see about what are the challenges between India and Indonesia. So first one is there is trade imbalances. So Indonesia is enjoying trade surplus with India. Okay, for example, coal, palm oil, etc. We are importing more from this Indonesia. And next one is some regulatory hurdles like permits, quotas, non-tariff measures between India and Indonesia is also one cause of concern. And next one is we don't have proper logistics like infrastructure, transportation. So because of this, we are not enhancing more trade. And next one is geopolitical dynamics, also one important challenge, like Indo-Pacific region challenges and Chinese increasing of influence and regional stability issues. So those are some challenges between India and Indonesia, and we have to be take care of those. So this is about this topic. And next article is about monetary and fiscal policies need to work in tandem. So here this article is talking about monetary and fiscal policy. It is talking about monetary policy and fiscal policy, FP and MP. So these two are the terminologies related to topic called as inflation. So inflation is nothing but there is increasing of price of goods and service in the market. So that time we have this monetary policy and fiscal policy to control this inflation. Monetary policy is by RBI and fiscal policy is by Government of India. So what RBI will do under this monetary policy? RBI will increase or decrease tax rates or tax cuts. For example, repo rate or reverse repo rate to control inflation. So what does government do? So government have two weapons. So one is increasing or decreasing of tax. Okay, so that it will control the money supply in the market. And next one is increasing or decreasing of public spending. Okay, whenever it is increasing or decreasing of public spending, it will be controlling the money supply. So those two tools, they will be useful to control inflation in the market. So just go through about what is monetary policy and what is fiscal policy, and this topic is important from GS paper 3 under economy. Okay, so these are the important topics that happened in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and if you like to join this GS foundation course and try to select a right coaching center, and we in Rathods IS, we are going to start a new batch from March. Okay, from March onwards, mostly in the first week of March, we are going to start the new batch for this GS Prelims cum Mains Foundation. So try to join that. If you want to select the right coaching center, Rathods IS Academy is the right. So you can check our website, you can check Google reviews, you can check our YouTube, you can check our current affairs analysis, everything, whatever you want, you can check and try to get the full details and try to join. And if you have any queries regarding our academy, our course, everything, you can call me on this number 8074765513. And even this is WhatsApp number, you can text me on my WhatsApp number as well, and you can talk to me directly. And if you want to visit our academy, so you can visit our academy, which is in this Ashok Nagar and exactly above Vikas Book Center, second and third floor. And I will be staying in the second floor. You can come and you can directly meet me. So thank you so much guys for watching, and do subscribe to Rathods IS Academy, and don't forget to like and share this class.